Hi, hello, vanakkam, and welcome back to yet another episode on Little's Law YouTube channel. So, in our previous video, we saw about the basics of network performance testing. How does it work? We saw that with an example, and also we saw about the web performance testing, the differences between the web and the network performance testing, and what are all the objectives we had for each of them. So in this video, we are going to see about the three key aspects of network performance testing. So its challenges. So we're going to discuss about a lot in this video. If you have not watched the previous video, the introduction video on network performance testing, please find the link in the description. So now in this video, we will see about the three aspects of network performance testing and various other topics. So before we move on to the video, this is me, your Vasan Shanmugam. Please do subscribe to Little Sly YouTube channel if you have not subscribed yet. So let's now start the video. So the critical role of the network performance tester in ensuring the success of any application is by focusing on three key aspects. So, what are those three key aspects? So, briefly, I would say they are the scalability, the responsiveness, and the user experience. So, now we will see from the beginning. So, what is the application scalability? So, that's the very first aspect of all the three aspects which talks about the scalability. So, scalability is an ability of the application to handle increasing user loads and growing demands without compromising its performance, because any application will not stay with the same user load. So it has to be scaled. It has to be tested by scaling the load. So that's why we do the application scalability. So by doing the network performance testing, we can find or we can assess the application scalability by simulating various user traffic scenarios and workloads. So that is the very first aspect of network performance testing. And through this testing, we can measure how well the underlying network infrastructure copes with increasing data traffic and user connections. So what else we have other than these points in the application scalability? So network performance testing helps identify the potential bottlenecks and limitations in the network, such as the main metrics, which are the bandwidth constraints or the overloaded network devices. And by analyzing the results at the end of the test, we gain insights into the network's capacity to handle higher user loads, which allows us to plan for necessary infrastructure upgrades or for optimizing them in advance, because that is why we need to do the testing. We have to optimize the network's capacity or any other bottlenecks that we face. And finally, this scalability testing with the realistic user load ensures that the application can scale seamlessly, meeting the user demands during peak periods such as seasonal sales or events. So they are almost similar. I mean, the way of testing is almost similar what we do for web testing and network testing, but the objective is different, because here by testing or by doing a scalability testing with realistic user load, we ensure that the application can scale seamlessly by meeting the user demands during peak periods. But what are we going to do? We are going to analyze the network's capacity. So when moving on to the next aspect, which is the application responsiveness. So responsiveness is a critical aspect of user experience, and the users expect applications to respond quickly and smoothly to their interactions. So network performance testing evaluates how efficiently the data is transmitted between the application server and the user's devices. So when talking about the objectives of application responsiveness. So doing latency testing, or by doing the latency testing, we measure the time it takes for data to travel between the servers and users. So low latency ensures quick responses, which minimizes delay in data transfer. And if the latency is too much, if it is like a lot of what we expect more than that, or it is more than what we expect, it is there will be a lot of delays in data transfer, and in turn the application will behave slower. So we have to have a low latency which ensures we are getting a quick responses, and that minimizes the delay in the data transfer. And next point is, when we do the network performance testing, we also focus on evaluating the stability of data transmission, which we have already discussed previously in the previous video, which is mostly about the jitter. So a stable network ensures consistent and predictable data delivery, resulting in a smoother user experience. So in the second point, as we told you, so they mostly deal on the jitter of the application. And then the third aspect is the seamless user experience. So when it comes to this user experience part, it is either a make or a break factor of any application. So a seamless user experience leads to satisfied users and repeat customers, right? So if the experience is seamless, like you get everything on the go, like you get everything very quick, and if everything is behaving to you what is expected, so the user has a very good experience when he uses the application. So same way, the network performance testing is fundamental in delivering such an experience. So by simulating various network conditions such as low bandwidth or high latency, we can identify how the application behaves under real world scenarios. And the network performance testing helps to detect the potential issues that may hinder the application's performance, such as slow load times or buffer in media streaming or interrupted connections. And by addressing these issues proactively, we can optimize the network infrastructure and ensure a seamless and enjoyable user experience. So this part is very important because by simulating, again I'm just repeating it, so by simulating various network conditions, usually, so we normally do this for network performance testing by testing the application with low bandwidth or high latency. Through that we can identify how the application behaves under real world scenarios. And again, there is the other way of testing where we do a hindrance. So we do various scenarios of performance, the network performance testing, to detect any potential issues such as slow loading time or buffer in media streaming or the interpreted connections. And then finally, by addressing these issues proactively, we can optimize the network infrastructure and ensure a seamless and enjoyable experience, because that is what we all expect as the end of the network performance testing. The user has to have a seamless experience and he has to enjoy his experience using the application. And that's where the network performance testing comes into part. So now we will see the next part.